and helping keep our kids safe. Greg and I, we met. It was interesting. I was living in Central Florida working for a Christian publisher, and who published like magazines and books and things like that. And Greg was in Oconomowoc, Wisconsin, and he was publishing Bible software. And I guess he was a Marquette guy or something. I don't know. But he also told me I should wear a tie today. What do you think? He didn't think I remembered how to tie a tie. So I'm not going to do that now. But we met during the 90s. There was a movement, like a Christian movement, a men's movement called Promise Keepers. And Bill McCartney was the coach of the Colorado Buffaloes at the time. And I don't know, I mean, this thing just sparked and went crazy. There was, they were filling stadiums, like 50, 60,000 men would come to these stadiums, and they'd have a big a service and teach men, really how to to step up and take care of their families and do the right thing and become godly men. So that's where Greg and I met. We worked together on a magazine called New Man Magazine. And so we had a lot of good times, and Greg really helped kind of make that magazine happen at the early stages, because he had a lot of connections in Detroit with advertisers like Chrysler and automotive industry, that kind of thing. But we had a lot of fun. We became friends, and then fast forward 20, 30 years, Greg had gone through a pretty tragic event. I'd gone through a tragic event many years ago. And, we're going to be talking about opioids and the danger of opioids and how to keep people safe from opioids, from dying from it. My child, it was a totally different situation. It was a doctor made an error with opioids that never should have been prescribed. The pharmacy, it was just a cluster, just a big mess. And my child had multiple disabilities and couldn't kind of fend for himself, but I know what it's like to lose a child. He was only 10 years old, and Joey, and then Greg lost his boy when his boy was in close to 20, I think maybe 20 or so, in his early 20s, to opioid overdose. And so we both knew we had this, common ground, and when people lose a child, one of the most important things is they try to make sense of it by trying to serve others or finding a way to make their child's life really count and have purpose. And one thing I did, my wife and I, we started an organization called Joey's Gift, which we provided respite care for families that had kids with disabilities through Easter seals. And that's still going on to this day. And that was like over 20 years ago. But anyways, come 30 years later, 20 to 30 years later, I just called Greg randomly. And it was about a year and a half ago. And welcome, thanks for coming. And it was about just a year. I think I had a business opportunity or something. I can't even remember why I called now, because the conversation quickly turned to what he was doing, and he had pulled together a group of other bereaved parents that had lost their children from fentanyl. Greg was really aware of the fentanyl crisis that was happening. I didn't even really realize it. I mean, you hear little things like, all these people are dying from fentanyl overdoses, and so in 2020, 21, 22. People didn't really realize what was going on. I think it kind of caught us off guard a lot. I mean, we're talking hundreds of thousands of people dying from over a 3-4 year span, and it was just out of control. Greg really understood that and wanted to do something to make a difference, in this high school assembly program kind of emerged. So I'm just volunteering. And I was like, Greg, I'm on board. Whatever I can do to help, get this going, I'm in. I'm all in. So we started working on it. The first door that opened was in Alaska. So that was great. Hey, Greg, you want to go to Alaska? But we went to Alaska. We did our assembly there. We ironed out a lot of different, ironed the program out a lot and really kind of was able to test it and actually do it. And then in Florida, we were able to get an invitation to do assemblies in all Miami-Dade County high schools. So we visited all 62 Miami-Dade County high schools, and we were off and running. But we've done over 100 assemblies in our first year. We're really brand new. But as you'll see, the message that we're bringing to the kids is like really timely and really important. It's urgent we get out there and share this information with as many students as we can. So again, if you know, once we get through, I'm going to turn it over to Greg, and he'll go through a presentation and show you what we show the high schools, kind of get a flavor for what the assembly looks like. And you know, if you know, of course, if you kind of resonate and agree that, hey, this is something we need to get this message to the kids, please give us your contact info and let's, you know, come and talk to us. And so we can, because we want to go to all 25,000 high schools in the country, but we've got a lot of work to do. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Greg, and thank you again all for coming and being here and for what you do. And again, we're available, and I'm not going to wear a tie, but
Thanks, Bobby.
Greg.